Hi and hello to our young mathematicians and math wizards out there. So how are you? I hope you are doing well and good while watching our video for today. So for this week, we're going to have another lesson for Mathematics 5, Quarter 1, Week 6. And for this week, we're going to have model areas of parallelograms, triangles, and trapezoids. So before I start, I would like to say that I do not own the slide presentation used. It was utilized solely for educational purposes and classroom instruction. So all credit goes to the original creator or owner of the material. So I am here to discuss and help you understand our lesson for this week. Okay, so now let's have our next slide. Okay, so for day one, we are going to have a quick review, okay, and recap, I think. Okay, so tell me, what have you learned last week? Okay, and we're going to try to answer some short activity for this slide. Okay, so for this review, solve the problem using multiplication of fractions. So Jill uses 2/3 of a cup of flour to bake one cake. So how much flour will she need to bake 3/4 of a cake? So you're going to use, okay, the steps in how to multiply fractions at the same time understanding and solving word problems involving multiplication of fractions. Okay, so next you're going to determine the length and the width of the given quadrilaterals. So use the square below in determining each unknown length and width of the quadrilaterals. So side length of a square. So 1 square is equal to 1 unit. So can you figure the length and width of our figure here? So for figure 1, okay, let's try. So the length, we have 4 units, and for the width we have 3 units. You just need to count, okay, the unit, okay? Yung length, no, yung haba, yung mas mahaba, yan ang ating length. Yung mas maikli, that would be the width. Okay? At ang isang square ay katumbas ng isang unit. So therefore, sa length, we have 4 units. So as we count, and the width is 3 units. Okay, so for our next figure, we have here, for the length, we have 5 units. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And for the width, we have 2 units. Okay, for figure 3, okay, we have, okay, for 4 units for the length, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we also have 4 units for the width. Okay. So this time, okay, we are going to develop the concept of area. So we're going to understand, okay, the concept of area. So in terms of the shapes, okay, like triangle, parallelogram, and the trapezoids. So first, what is area? So area is the amount of space inside a two-dimensional shape measured by counting how many square units can fit inside it. A square unit is a square with sides that are 1 unit long, like 1 centimeter, 1 meter, or 1 inch. So the area tells us how many of these square units cover the inside surface of the shape. Okay, so for example, if a rectangle is 4 units long and 3 units wide, its area is 12 square units, because 12 squares each 1 unit by 1 unit, so can fit inside it. So the figures could be covered by smaller squares. So a single square is a square unit, while the one side length of a square unit is what we call a linear unit. Okay, so as we can see, we have here a figure or a model. So we have the one linear unit. Okay, so the side of the square. Okay, it's 1 square unit the length is the number of linear units of the longer side, kung ano yung mas mahaba, while the width is the number of units of the shorter side. Okay, the area is the number of square units that cover the surface of the figure. So, ibig sabihin, gaano karaming square unit ang kayang magkasya sa isang surface o doon sa area ng isang figura. Okay, so that is what area is. A triangle is a three-sided polygon, while a parallelogram is a four-sided polygon with two pairs of opposite sides parallel. Okay, so we have here a sample figure of a parallelogram. Okay, so a parallelogram has two pairs of parallel or aligned sides, okay? Red sides and blue sides. So, yung picture kanina na pinakita natin, we can see na parehas na aligned yung both sides. So, both red sides and blue sides are all aligned. While a trapezoid is a four-sided polygon with one pair of opposite sides parallel. So, yung red lines dyan. So, nakikita natin na they are parallel. A trapezoid has only one pair of parallel or aligned sides, which is the red sides only. So, in terms of height, triangle, the length of a perpendicular line segment from a vertex to the opposite side. So, we have here a figure, okay, or a model for that. Okay, so we can see here a triangle. So we have the height here represented by the blue line, and we have the red line, which is the base. Okay, so opposite to the base is the vertex. Okay, so the tip of the triangle. Okay, for parallelogram and trapezoid, the length of the perpendicular line from the baseline to the line parallel to it. So what does it mean? Okay, so we can see here the first figure refers to a parallelogram. We can see there the height here represented by the blue line, and we have the base, okay, and with the red line below, and then yung sa taas naman we have the side parallel, okay, aligned to the base. So the next figure is a trapezoid. Okay, again for the height represented by the blue line, and then base 1, okay, is the red line below, and then the side parallel aligned to the base is we also call that base 2, yung nasa taas naman. So again, base 1, yung bottom part, okay, yung mas mahaba, and then base 2 is nandoon sa taas. Okay. So figure 1 is parallelogram, while figure 2 is a trapezoid. Okay, so we have here an activity, write true if the statement is correct, and if not, write false. Okay, so a single square with side length of one linear unit is called a square unit. Number 2, the width of a triangle or the width of a rectangle is the number of linear units on the longer side. Number 3, the area of a figure is measured by the number of square units that cover its surface. Number 4, a trapezoid has two pairs of parallel sides. And number 5, a parallelogram is a four-sided polygon with two pairs of opposite sides parallel. Okay, so we have here the answer. So we have here the answers based on the statements given. So for number 1, it's true. A single square with a side length of 1 unit is called a square unit. Number 2 is false. Okay, the length, okay, not the width, is usually the longer side of a rectangle. Number 3, true. The area of a figure is measured by how many square units cover its surface. Number 4, false. A trapezoid has only one pair of parallel sides and not 2. Well, for number 5, it's true. Okay, a parallelogram is a four-sided shape with two pairs of opposite sides that are parallel. So next we have another assessment activity. So write the correct answer for each question. So what do we call the length of one side of a square unit? Okay. Okay. Number 2, how many sides does a triangle have? Number 3, how many pairs of parallel sides does a parallelogram have? Number 4, what is the length of a perpendicular line segment from a vertex to the opposite side of a triangle called? And number 5, how many pairs of parallel sides does a trapezoid have? Okay, so we have here the answers for each question. So what do we call the length of one side of a square unit? We call that a linear unit. How many sides does a triangle have? So of course 3. How many pairs of parallel sides does a parallelogram have? 2. What is the length of a perpendicular line segment from a vertex to the opposite side of a triangle called? It is the height. And how many pairs of parallel sides does a trapezoid have? So only 1. Okay, so this time, let's go to day 2 and we're going to discuss. So hihimay-himayin na natin on how we are going to get the area of these shapes. Okay, so let's have a quick review. Which shape could be used to cover the rectangular piece of paper wholly without overlaps? Okay, is it a square, a triangle, or a circle? So ano ba yung mag-fit in at makakapag-cover, no, sa rectangular piece na yan na walang overlap, hindi nag-overlap? So of course, it is the square. Okay, so for this day, we're going to discuss area of a square, rectangle, and parallelogram that is not a rectangle. So area of a square, rectangle, and parallelogram that is not a rectangle. So we can see, kanina, hindi ba, tinanong natin kung ano ba yung shape na makakapag-cover doon sa surface without overlapping. So the answer is square. So nakita naman natin na nag-fit in siya doon sa ating figure or model na kung saan walang nag-overlap, no, hindi lumagpas or hindi kulang. Okay, so nag-fit in siya. So the question is, how many square units did they use to fill in the interior part of the rectangle? So gaano daw ba kadami, no, na square units? So yung blue part na yung ginamit nila para mapunan yung loob ng rectangle. So the answer is 12 or 12 square units. So letter B, what is the length and the width? So ano ba yung length niya? Okay, so yung mas mahaba, we have 4 units. Okay, and yung width, which is the shorter one, is 3 units. So paano ba tayo nag-come up with 12? Okay, so what connection do you see with the area of the rectangle and the product of its length and width? So the answer is area. 12 square units is the product of 4 units and 3 units. So it is like length times width. So okay, so if we're going to get the area of a rectangle, so we're going to multiply its length and width, and then that's how we can get the area of the rectangle. The rectangle is made up of smaller squares. A single square is a square unit, while the one side length of a square unit is what we call a linear unit. So yung isang buong square, okay, that is equivalent to 1 square unit, and yung side length ng square ay tinatawag naman nating linear unit. The length is the number of linear units of the longer side, while the width is the number of units of the shorter side. Hence, length is 3 units of the rectangle, while its width is 2 units. The area is the number of square units that cover the surface of the figure. Hence, the area of the rectangle is 6 square units. So this time, complete the table. So each square, okay, is equivalent to 1 unit square. Okay, so for figure 1, okay, you're going to count how many square or unit square are there for the length. Okay, so we have 4. Okay, and then yung width niya is 3. So 4 times 3, that would be 12. Okay, so for the next figure, the length is how many square, okay, or unit square do you see? For the length, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the width, we have 1, 2. So 5 times 2 is 10. Okay, so that is the area, 10 unit square or square units. Okay, and for this figure, we have how many unit square for the length? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and for the width, we also have 4 unit square. So 4 times 4, that would be 16 unit square. Okay, so complete the statement. The area of a rectangle is the product of the length and width. So area of rectangle is equals to length multiplied to width. Okay, letter B, the area of a square whose side length is S. Okay, therefore area of square is S times S, or S squared. Okay, so this time let's find the area of the parallelogram. Okay, we have here the figure. Okay, for base, we have 4 unit, okay, or 4 square unit. Okay, and for the height, okay, yung taas, no, yung taas niya, we have 3 square unit or unit square. So we multiply that, we get 12. Okay, so to find the area of the parallelogram, we can use this basic formula. Okay, area is equals to base times height, or A is equals to BH. Okay, so kung kanina, kapag kinukuha natin ang area ng rectangle, okay, we have length times width, or L times W. Okay, for the parallelogram, we have base times height, or A is equals to BH. Okay, from the image, we can observe the grid inside the parallelogram. So step 1, count the base. The parallelogram spans 4 units horizontally. Okay, pahalang. Okay, step 2, count the height. Count the height, no, yung taas, the vertical height, patayo. The number of squares high. So is 3 units, so equivalent to 3 units. Okay, so step 3, multiply base by height. So area is equals to base times height. Okay, so that would be the base is 4 and then the height is 3 units or 3 square units. Multiply 4 to 3, that would be 12. So the answer or the area is 12 square units. Okay, so let's do it. Okay, so you don't know if you don't know how to find the area of a parallelogram, but you know how to find the area of a rectangle, so you need to make a rectangle from the parallelogram. So paano ba yun mangyayari? Okay, so we can see here, no, tingnan natin yung itsura. Okay, so yung meron tayong triangle sa gilid. Okay, and if we add that, okay, so makaka-form tayo ng isang rectangle. Okay, so for step 2, showing the equivalent rectangle, okay, again, I want you to find the area of the parallelogram, and this time you're the one who's going to explain how you found it. Okay, so how were you able to solve it? Okay, so we have our day 3, and for day 3, okay, we have a quick review. So complete the table. So this time I am going to let you answer this one based on the figure. What is the base and the height and the area of figure 1? Okay, how about figure 2? And we have figure 3. So this time, complete the statement. The area of parallelogram is the blank of the blank and blank. And then give the formula on how you're going to find the area of parallelogram. Okay, so for day 3, we're going to discuss how we're going to find and solve for the area of a triangle. So let's recall the formula for the area of a parallelogram, which is area is equals to base times height, where A is the area, B is the base, and H is the height. So we have here figure 1. Can you find the area of the triangle? So to find the area of the triangle, we use the formula. Okay, area is equivalent to 1/2 base times height. Okay, or 1/2 multiplied to base and height. Okay, so step 1, count the base. Okay, going back to the picture or the figure 1 a while ago, the triangle's base spans 6 units. Okay, so that is the base, 6 units. Okay, for step 2, count the height. The height of the triangle is 3 units. Okay, so again, yung ating base is 6 and then the height is 3. So for step 3, you need to substitute the values into the formula. Okay, so our formula is 1/2 BH. Okay, so we're going to substitute that with the square units, okay, that we had. So that would be area is equals to 1/2 multiplied by 6, which is the base, times 3 for the height. Okay, so area is equals to 1/2 multiply 6 times 3. Okay, that would be 18, and that would become 1/2 times 18. So that would be, yung kalahati, 18 divided by 2 is 9. So 9 square units. Ma'am, pwede po bang 1/2 times 6 muna? Okay, then multiplied by 3. Okay, so let's try. So 1/2, okay, times 6 over 1. So that would be 3. Diba? Magiging 3 times 3. Okay, so yun yung magiging area natin dito sa baba. So 3 times 3 is also equals to 9. So we come up with the same answer. So that would be 9 square units. Okay, so we have another example here. Find the area of the triangle. We have the figure. Okay, for the base, we have 4 square units. 1, 2, 3, and 4. For the height, we only have 1 square unit. Okay, and the area is 2. Ma'am, paano po naging 2 ang area? Okay, so let's try to solve for the area of the triangle. Okay, so again, the area, okay, the formula is area is equals to 1/2 base times height. Okay, let's substitute 1/2 times 4 times 1. Okay, so 4 times 1 is 4. Okay, and pwede rin naman, i-multiply mo muna siya. So, 1/2 times 4. So, 1/2 times 4 over 1. Okay, you cancel out. That will give you 2 times 1. Okay, so same thing with 1/2 times 4. 4 over 1, cancel. The answer is both 2 square units. So, kahit na alin ang mauna dyan, we will come up with the same answer. So, no need to worry. Okay, so flip it vertically and attach it to the original triangle. You can now form a parallelogram. So, okay, I would like to remind you that you may not know how to find the area of a triangle, but you know how to find the area of parallelogram. So, you can go back to step 1. So, add the red triangle to the original one as shown below for reference. Okay, so kapag pag binaligtad mo yung triangle at isinama mo pa siya sa isa pang triangle, you can now form a parallelogram. Okay, so for this one, you're going to complete the table. So, solve for the area of the triangle. So, base multiplied, or okay, get the base and then the height and then follow the formula, okay, given a while ago. Okay, so now complete the statement. The area of a triangle is blank of the blank and blank. Okay, and then write the formula of how to find the area of a triangle. That's 1/2 times base times height. Okay, so for day 4, okay, so let's have a quick review. Find the area of the triangles. So count the unit square, the base, okay, and its height. Okay, so now it's time for us to discuss the area of a trapezoid. So paano ba natin kukuhanin or isosolve ang area ng trapezoid? Okay, so recall the formula for the area of parallelogram, which is A is equals to B or H, wherein A is the area, B is the base, and H is the height. Okay, so this time, let's find the area of the trapezoid. So, paano ba natin gagawin yan? Paano ba natin makukuha ang area ng isang trapezoid? Okay, so let's keep in mind the area of a trapezoid formula is 1/2 k times base 1 plus base 2 multiplied by the height. Okay, so we're in, okay, given the trapezoid. For base 1, yung nasa baba, we have 6 units, which is the bottom base. For base 2, yung nasa top base, nasa taas, we have 2 units. And for the height, we have 2 units. Okay, so base 1 is 6, base 2 is 2, and height is 2 units. Okay, so for step 1, okay, so trapezoid is just half of the form parallelogram. So hence, to find the area of the trapezoid, find the area of the parallelogram first and then divide it by 2. So that's how we're going to get the area of a trapezoid. Okay, so flip it vertically and attach it to the original. You can form a parallelogram, okay? So you may not know how to find the area of a trapezoid, but you know how to find the area of a parallelogram. So as what we had a while ago. So for step 2, add the red trapezoid to the original one as shown below for reference. Okay, so kapag binaliktad mo daw yung trapezoid, no? Sabi flip. At kapag inattach mo siya, makakabuo tayo ng isang parallelogram. Okay, so we have here the base of parallelogram is equals to base of trapezoid 1 plus base of trapezoid 2. Okay, yung base ng ating trapezoid 1 is 6 units. Then yung base ng trapezoid 2 is 2. So 6 plus 2, we get 8. Okay, then height of the parallelogram is equals to the height of the trapezoid. Ibig sabihin, magkapareha sila ng height. So yung given height natin a while ago is 2 units. So what will happen next? So to compute the area of the trapezoid, find the area of the parallelogram first by multiplying the base, which is the sum of the bases of the trapezoid. So which is base 1 plus base 2. Okay, with the height of the trapezoid. So ibig sabihin, we're going to add base 1 and then base 2, and then we're going to multiply to the height of the trapezoid. Then once the area of the parallelogram is found, divide it by 2 since the trapezoid is just half of the parallelogram. Meaning to say, ang magiging formula natin will be base 1 plus base 2 multiplied by height divided by 2. So that's how we are going to find the area of the trapezoid. Okay, so hence the formula of the area of a trapezoid is, okay, again, base 1 plus base 2, okay, multiplied by height divided by 2. Okay, now let's compute. Return to the problem and solve the area of the trapezoid. So again, we have base 1, 6, base 2 is 2, and then the height is 2. So we're going to kumbaga, i-convert na natin siya, no? I-substitute na natin from the formula to the given units, o yung nakuha nating units for the trapezoid. So that would be 6 plus 2 multiplied by 2 divided by 2. So 6 plus 2 is 8 multiplied by 2 divided by 2. So 8 times 2, 16 divided by 2 is equals to 8 square units. So that is the area of our given trapezoid. Okay, so ito din po yung atin in-explain kanina, no? Sinubstitute lang natin. Okay. So this time, okay, you're going to complete the table. You're going to find the area of a trapezoid. First, get the base 1, then get the base 2, okay, add it, multiply it to the height, and then after that, divide it by 2 to get the area of the trapezoid. Okay, so complete the statement. The area of a trapezoid is 1/2 of the product of the height and the sum of the two bases. All right. Okay, so I would like to say thank you. I hope you learned, okay, something and medyo naging klaro yung ating pagkuha ng area. Okay, and then by using the unit square, hindi ba? Mas naging madali siya because gumamit tayo ng square unit or unit square na para mas madali nating makuha yung length and then the width, okay, and then also the height. So the thing is, you need to remember the different formula, okay, on how to get the area of a rectangle, area of a triangle, area of a parallelogram, and area of the trapezoid. Okay, so that's the thing. Kapag alam nyo na on how to get, no, using the figure, how to get the length, tandaan, the length yung mas mahaba and then yung width is the shorter one. Okay, so kapag nakuha nyo na yung mga square units and then you also have your formula, you're going to substitute, no? Isa-substitute nyo lang and then form the, solve for the formula. Okay, follow the formula and then solve for the given operations. Okay, so I would like to say thank you so much. I hope naliwanagan kayo sa ating paliwanag for this week. Okay, medyo nakakalito siya, okay, because medyo marami tayong mga kinukuhang area. But then again, okay, sabi nga, pag hindi natin naunawaan sa isang beses, okay, ulitin natin ulit. Okay, and we can also ask, you can also answer, okay, yung inyong worksheets, okay, para ma-practice kayo, maging mas familiar kayo sa formula. Alright, so I would like to say thank you. Thank you so much for being with me and I hope medyo naging malinaw, no, sa inyo yung ating paliwanag. Medyo pero I'm praying na malinaw yung naging paliwanag natin in terms of getting the area of rectangle, okay? Same time yung square din. So square naman, you just need to multiply the both sides, okay, and then area of a triangle, parallelogram, and trapezoid. Okay, so thank you so much. This is Teacher Isa and see you again next week. Bye bye.